So if you're here watching this video, it's because you want more. You know that there's another level for you. You know that you could be doing more, doing better, have more energy, have more confidence. You probably feel like you're not living up to the full potential that you could be. You're not the best husband or father or worker or business owner or man that you could be. And that is exactly how I felt 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was a broke, anxious, depressed, suicidal drug addict, and now I run two multi-million-dollar businesses. Now, whilst this isn't a video on making money, this isn't a video on business coaching or a business course, I do notice that a lot of people that reach out to me to lose weight and work on their mindset and become better, they actually want more for themselves. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't be reaching out for help. And to me, as much as success is well-rounded, a large indicator of how successful someone is comes down to their finances. It comes down to their wealth. And the fact that I have been on both sides of that, I have been broke and living in that victim mentality, and now I'm on the other side of that, it gives me a unique viewpoint. It allows me to actually help my clients more. But it is also a true testament to my beliefs, to the things that I teach my clients, that they work, because it has worked in my own life, and I have probably been in a much worse situation than they ever were. So what I want to do with this video is actually teach you the main frameworks that I teach my clients, teach you the main things that I have implemented into my life, whether it be habits or beliefs or systems that will help you become successful. Now that may be losing 30, 40, 50 kilos. That may be becoming a better husband, father, employee, business owner. That may be making more money. But I genuinely believe that once you raise your standards in one area, it will raise your standards across the board. How you do one thing is typically how you do everything. And you've got to think, if you are overweight, if you have given up on your body, that is slowly going to start to seep into other areas. If you lower your standards for what your physical body should be, you will lower your standards of what kind of husband you should be, what kind of father you can be, what kind of employee or business owner that you can be. Whereas if you start working on yourself and raising your standards, you will become better in every area. And this is true for so many of my clients. If you go on my website, there is countless testimonies from previous clients that have not only just lost 40, 50, 60 kilos and become better physically, but because they have more energy, now they have more time, now they have more confidence, they have started making more money because of that. Because they believed in themselves, they took the risk and they started that business. Because they had more self-confidence and more self-esteem and more self-respect, they went and left one job that was underpaying them, and now they're making double or triple what they were making before. And this will all come back to today's video, which is your habits, your mindset, your beliefs. It all shapes your reality. I genuinely believe that your life right now is an accumulation of the things that you do daily, whether it be good, whether it be bad, whether you're happy with it, whether you want it changed. Where you are right now comes down to your habits and the things that you do repetitively. If you look at someone that's overweight, what do they do repetitively? Eat shit food, drink alcohol. When they're emotional, their release is eating and drinking, in which that has become their habit. That has become the things that they do repetitively. And what's the outcome? They're 30, 40, 50 kilos overweight. Whereas if you look at someone that is lean and muscular and that has 20 to 30 kilos of muscle on them, you can tell that the things that they do are very different. They train every day. They eat right every day. They get their calories in and their macros in and whatever they're doing. They get their calories in and their macros in, and they're very regimented. Now, while some people are very regimented with their work, they will wake up and they will go to work and they will come home, they aren't very regimented in other areas. But if you're the kind of guy that does wake up and go to work, even though you don't want to, then you can also be the guy that wakes up and goes to the gym and eats right, even if you don't want to. I haven't wanted to go train for at least 3 years, but I still go and do it Monday through Friday, and I eat right every day because it has given me the body that I have now, which has given me the energy, the confidence, and the self-esteem that I need to go after what I want in life. So if you feel stuck, tired, run down, and you feel like you're capable of achieving much more, I want to lay out the main things that genuinely helped me transform my life from a drug addict that would have been dead. I genuinely believe from the bottom of my heart that if I had kept going on the path that I would be dead. But instead, I retrained my body. I retrained my mindset. I worked with a lot of coaches and mentors over the years that have taught me these things I'm now going to teach you. And I know this is super cliche, but if I can do it, you can do it too. There's a lot of people that want the results, but they aren't willing to do the work. They want the body, they want the family, they want the cars and the house and the bank account, but when it actually comes to doing the work, they don't have the mindset in order to get the results that they need. So whilst I will touch on training and nutrition, that's more from a holistic standpoint because the training builds the discipline, the nutrition builds the energy, but the majority of what I'm going to talk about is actually mindset related, and it is a big reason why my clients get the results that they do. Because anyone these days can write you a training plan. You can get an online coach that has no experience coaching people, but he had a coach once upon a time and now he's a coach. You have AI that can write you a training plan and a meal plan in an instant. All of the information is out there. Sometimes to the fact that there's too much information out there and you don't know what to do. But it's not the fact that you need more information. One, with a good coach, you will get planned implementation, as in what do you need specifically to get you the results, but also you need someone that's helping you build that determination and build that mindset so that you can actually stick to the plan when you don't want to stick to the plan. Because whilst I have transformed thousands of lives at this point, I've helped people lose weight, build muscle, build companies, build their life, build their relationship, and ultimately become the man that deep down they always knew that they could be. I've probably had 20 times that amount reach out asking for help, saying that they want to achieve X, Y, Z, saying that they need to lose the weight and become a better man, better husband, better father, but they don't go ahead with it because it's too hard. And this is probably one of the biggest issues that we face in society today, that everyone's a little bit of a bitch. Everybody wants the results, but no one's actually willing to do the work. Everyone sees the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis on the Instagram and TikTok, but they don't want to do the work in order to actually get it. So many men want to become the man, the leader, the protector, the provider. They want to actually feel like the man in their house, in their relationship, but then they don't do what they need to do as a man to actually step up. Their habits fall to shit, they fall to shit, they just give up on themselves, and then they wonder why their wife of 20 years leaves them. Because you gave up on yourself. And you can't expect someone to not give up on you if you have given up on you. It is your duty as a man to step up, become better, to work on yourself, to become a strong, disciplined, capable man that can actually lead and protect and provide for his family. But it all starts with your habits. It all starts with you. If you can't do what a man is meant to do, then you don't just get the badge of honor of being a man. You need to actually earn that shit. So if you do feel like there's more out there for you, I can help you achieve it, and this is how. Number one is your habits. As I said before, your life right now is a result of your habits, of the things that you do every single day. And your habits compound. If you wake up and jump on your phone and just scroll there, now you're late for work, so you eat some shit food, you go to work, you come home, because you've eaten the shit food, you have no energy. So you jump back on TikTok where you see some chick twerking. Oh, now I've got to jack off. Oh, ultimate dopamine spike. Let's eat some more shit food and go to bed. If you do that consistently, which is what majority of people do, then why would you ever want to become better? Why would you ever actually work on yourself? Because all you're doing is triggering a fake dopamine spike in your brain. You're giving yourself that instant gratification, which is very short-lived, right? You have the shit food, you feel good for a little bit, 5 minutes later, now you're sad. Then you jack off, same thing. Then you eat more shit food, then you binge watch Netflix, maybe you have a drink or two, maybe you do some drugs. I get it, I have been there. I've done all of this myself. So I understand how easy of a trap it is to fall into, but the issue is these habits compound. Something very important to know is that if you are triggering that fake dopamine spike, then why would you actually work on yourself to become better in order to actually have that dopamine in real life? Because I guarantee if you were to build an amazing life where you look good, your car's good, your house is good, you've got the girl, the house, the car, the body, the bank account, you've got the life. You want to go on holidays, you want to go to south of France, you want to go to Saint-Tropez, go, because you've become the kind of man that can do that. That would give you more dopamine than all the bullshit habits would combined. But it's obviously very fucking hard to achieve it. It's only the 1% that can achieve that kind of lifestyle. But you need to ask yourself, what kind of lifestyle do you want to live? What kind of man do you want to live? Do you want to be proud of yourself? Do you want to achieve these amazing things? Or are you happy just being the average Australian, which statistically speaking, 70% of Australian men are overweight and 70% to 75% of men make around 80 grand a year. So are you happy to be that? Are you happy to be the average mediocre guy that is overweight, broke, living week to week and bringing kids into this world with your wife who is struggling? They can't go to a nice school. Your wife can't afford to have nice things. You're constantly stressed out. And that's the kind of standard that you set for the people you love. Or do you actually work on yourself, implement the right habits, and become the man that you need to be so that they can all have an amazing life? I know what side I want to be on, but that question's for you to answer. Now, like I said, if you're constantly giving yourself that dopamine hit, that fake dopamine hit, then why would you actually work on yourself and train and build that amazing life? But more importantly, those negative habits compound. If you do eat shit every day for 5 years, you're gonna get very fat. If you do just jump on Pornhub when you get home, instead of actually working on yourself, becoming fit and successful, and going out and finding your dream woman, if you're just binge watching porn, ticking off that box artificially, then you would never actually work on yourself in order to get that girl. So then you end up fat, broke, alone, miserable, probably anxious and depressed because you're watching the highlight reel of people's lives on Instagram wondering, oh, where's my private jet? You don't get one because you're broken fat. And that is because you have very shit habits. Whereas if you were to analyze someone successful, ask yourself what their habits are. Identify what their habits are. They probably get up early. They train when it's still dark outside. They get their mindset right first thing in the morning. After they train, they're writing out what their goals are and what they're grateful for and what they need to do that day. They're highly effective people. They're eating right. They're training. They're working on themselves, investing in themselves. If you were to put 10 successful people in a room, I'm sure they would share very similar habits. And it's because the habits done repetitively is what makes or breaks you. Now, in my Mindset Mastery course that I have with my clients, we actually go through this. We figure out what the good habits are to get you where you want to be after we figure out where you want to get to, obviously. We figure out what habits right now are holding you back and getting in the way and come up with the plan to actually overcome them and replace them with the good habits so that the trajectory of your life changes completely. The second thing is your mindset. Now, obviously, you've probably gathered by now that your mindset is very important because whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. I have spent the last 10 years forming, shaping, building a mentality that helps me win in the world. And it is a very strong, competitive, disciplined mindset because that is what will help me win. Whereas you see a lot of people now, they develop this soft, squishy, liberal mindset that, oh, you shouldn't talk like that. Oh, you shouldn't call yourself that. Oh, it's not about competition. Oh, let's give an 8th place participation award to everyone. That isn't going to help you win. And what you need to know if you are a man, and if my marketing is right, then you probably are a man watching this, but life as a man is about competition. Whether you become successful or not, it comes down to how competitive you are, how much value you can add somewhere. And some people don't like that. They say, oh, well, it shouldn't be about that. A man's life shouldn't be about how valuable you are. That sounds horrible. Maybe so. But it is what it is. 100 years ago, you could have been dying in World War I or II. 1,000 years ago, you could have been getting invaded by some tribe. 10,000 years ago, you would have been hunting and gathering and fighting saber-toothed tigers. It has always been hard. It has always been about competition as a man. So it comes down to how do you get that competitive edge? How do you become the man that actually wins? And that happens through working on yourself, through building a strong, disciplined, capable mindset, because that is the thing that is actually going to help you succeed in this world. And now, yes, you can go and adopt the other way of thinking, that soft, liberal mindset that is quite literally making men weaker and weaker, but don't be surprised when you don't win. And not to get political, but this is why you will see liberal people try and taking off the successful people and giving to the non-successful people. Oh, well, we should add more taxes to the rich. I'm sorry, but the rich pay more tax than you ever will in your life in one fucking year. The rich pay enough tax. They are already in the highest tax bracket. Just because they're smart with their money and make multiple investments that make them more money doesn't mean you should take more money off them and give it to the shit people. That makes no sense. But in a liberal mindset, that is what works best. And it is socialism at its finest, which is borderline communism. So you can either adopt that broke, poor me, victim mentality, and let's just take off the people that are doing well and give to me, or you become the person at the top. And the person at the top makes his own life, makes his own rules. Someone that is financially free lives on their own terms. And as someone that does that, I must say, I highly recommend it. Just to give a bit of context, I run a multi-million-dollar coaching business that I help people actually achieve all this. Guys that want to lose weight, work on themselves, work on their mindset, they see my content and get a glimpse of their future in a much better way, and they'll reach out for help. We help them lose weight and become the man that they need to be. Help them become the husband and the father that they always knew that they could be. Like I said at the start, I don't say the multi-million-dollar coaching business as a flex. I say that because I've been on the other side. I've been that broken, anxious, depressed, suicidal drug addict that was literally trying to kill himself with drugs. I had such a poor me, victim mentality. I felt so hard done by, but that was just the victim mentality that I was living in at the time, trying to make sense of the situation. And things have changed for me dramatically, but it is because of these things. It is because of the hard work that I've put in, the habits that I've built, the mindset that I have built. That is what allows me to help my clients succeed, because I've been on the other side. I understand that it's hard. I don't go into anything knowing that it's going to be a walk in the park unless it is a walk in the park. Success is hard. It is stressful, but what is the alternative? And this is probably a beautiful lesson to throw in, but what kind of stress do you want to deal with? Because life is always going to be stressful and hard. But you can either choose to have the stress and the hardship through becoming successful, running the business and working on yourself and long days and waking up early and putting in more work and always upping yourself and upping yourself. That is hard and stressful. But eventually you become successful, but your stresses are just different. Versus the man that doesn't work on himself, that thinks that stress is not being able to pay your bills. Oh, how am I going to pay my rent? How are we going to put our kids through school? Oh, well, our kids need new shoes. We don't have money until next Thursday. Like, that stress to me sounds so much worse than the stress that I deal with now. But realistically, the stress that I deal with now is probably harder. At the level I'm at now, there is more at stake. But I would much rather the stress that I deal with now than the stress of how do we pay for our food? How do I provide this amazing life for my beautiful wife? And that is why I do what I do, because I want to help people bridge that gap, much like I bridged that myself. But you get to choose the stress. You get to choose the difficulty that you want to have. And I highly recommend the first one that I mentioned. The stress of actually becoming successful is so much better than the stress of never being enough. The stress of waking up early and putting in work and becoming that version of yourself that can actually achieve an amazing life, that is so much better than the stress of inadequacy and never living up to your true potential. So coming back to the mindset for a moment, you need to develop the mindset that is going to help you win. And I believe that as a man, the mindset that is going to most help you win, most help you become successful, is that competitive driven mindset. If you have that mindset, you will never lose. Now, number 3 and 4 is your training and your nutrition. I'm going to group them together because it's more, as I said before, it's a holistic. Once you're training, you have more energy. Once you're eating right, you feel better. You can do more. You have more time every day. And obviously, it is a big part of what I help my clients with. When someone comes to me to lose 40 kilos, I can't just talk about mindset and discipline. I do need to give them the training plan and the meal plan, which I have successfully done for for the last 10 years. I help people lose 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 kilos. I had a client that lost 120 kilos once. And ultimately, that is going to come down to your training and your nutrition. I think those two things have become the habit for me and the cornerstone of everything else that I have built. It's the base that I have built everything else on top of. Because every day for the last 10 years, I have trained, I have eaten right. Yes, I still have rest days and I don't eat chicken and rice every single day, but especially going from 60 kilos to now 100 kilos lean, literally looking like a bodybuilder, training and nutrition has been the thing that has got me there. But it has been so much more. It has taught me discipline and consistency. And all these little things that I speak of really tie back to that has helped me go after much bigger things. I had a negative comment on a post once and he said, "Oh, you gym guys are all so motivated and positive. It's sickening." And I'm thinking, how is that a bad thing? Motivated, positive, driven. How awful? How awful is that? To be driven and motivated and think positively. But the thing that caught my attention is he said, all you gym guys are the same. And it's because when you start working on yourself, it's just something that happens. Because every day you're taking positive actions to improve your life, so more and more positive things start to come your way. You start to look at situations differently. You know, those kinds of people that focus on the negative, they always seem to attract more negative, right? So surely it works the other way. I'm sure you know someone that's the luckiest person in the world as well, but it's probably because they're so positive, they keep finding more opportunities. And because they're the positive, driven, motivated person, people give them opportunities as well. People open the door for them because let's face it, no one wants to give an opportunity to a sad piece of shit that's negative all the time. And I think a really important thing to take away is that as a man, if you are the positive, driven, motivated guy, people will want to work with you. People want to be around you. I'm sure people just want to work with me sometimes because I'm that guy, I'm that positive guy. Much like my last 3 mentors and coaches that I've had, I just want to be near them and have proximity to them because they're the guy. I feel like if they're helping me, I will win. And that's the power of it. If you're driven and motivated and successful, people will want to be around you. And it's the same with your body. If you're overweight, that is the first thing that people see. So yes, people will judge you differently. They will treat you less because what you're showing on the outside is that I don't care, I have shit self-control, I have bad habits, I have weak willpower, and I just give in to my cravings. And if I were an employer trying to look for an employee to run my business or help me with my business, I would not be hiring a fat guy because they can't even look after themselves. And that is what you're putting out to the world? That you just don't care? I get a lot of clients that come to me and they want to lose 50 kilos because their wife left them and they have to show her who's boss. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. I would have left you too. You've put on 50 kilos and given up on yourself. That is the most unattractive thing that a man can do. And as a woman that inherently wants safety and security, if you are giving them no safety or security because you're overweight and you've given up on yourself, then I'd leave as well. And that's a shock to some men. Oh, well, she said that she'd always love me. Yeah, until you gave up on yourself and became a loser. So working on yourself and training and eating right and losing the weight and building the muscle and having more energy, having more confidence, it is the biggest shortcut in your life. It is the biggest cheat code that you have to become successful, to get the job or start the business or get the girl. It teaches you what you need to learn and then things that you can implement into other areas of your life to actually become successful. But I guarantee if you're overweight, you feel like shit, you look like shit, you want a better life, losing the weight is the biggest thing that you can do to start that forward momentum. And it's also the easiest. If you also want to make $2.2 million this year, there is a lot that you need to do in order to do it. Whereas if you want to lose the weight, you just need to eat in a deficit, start training, and that is what I help my clients with. We come up with a plan that actually suits their lifestyle. They're not in the gym for 3 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's very moderate, realistic. The food plan, I give them a ton of different options, over 40 different options to choose from. Easy to make, really enjoyable, low calorie, high protein meals with a ton of different options so that they can change it up when they want to change it up. They're also working directly with myself, so they have that accountability and support. They have access to me, which means that when a problem comes their way, I can solve it for them. Up until, of course, they build the mindset where they can solve their problems themselves. But when they're doing coaching, they have access to me for that reason. Something pops up, work, lunch, dinner with the missus, cool. Send me a photo of the menu and I'll tell you what you can have. It is really hands-on. I've got clients messaging me right now and I'm like, I got to get back to them, but I'm doing this video. So your training and your nutrition, even if you didn't need to lose 40, 50, 60 kilos, I would still be making it a base of your life, because when you have more energy, because you're eating more food, you will have more time, right? And they're the two commodities in this world that people don't have enough of. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. Guess what, motherfucker? You lose the weight, you build the muscle, you start eating right, you start training, you will have more time every day because you have more energy. And then with that more time, you can actually make more money. Like I said, I've had so many clients that because they've lost all the weight and they have energy now, they don't just get home at 2 or 3 or 4 p.m. and just pass out on the lounge until dinner. Instead, they go and do a cashy. Or if they run their own business, they're taking on another little job in the afternoon. And now they're making more money. So through working on their body, their mindset, and becoming better as a man, you unlock another fucking level. Number 4 is your circle. When I was hanging out with a bunch of drug addicts, guess who was also a drug addict? Me. If you're going to the pub every afternoon with all the boys, you're probably not going to achieve much. I think a lot of people in Australia make that the culture. Oh, well, yeah, we're Australian. We like to have beers. But the people that I know that are also Australian don't like to get pissed every day. They don't go to the pub every afternoon. They don't go and have a punt when they're struggling to pay their rent. They're the type of men that work on themselves, that are successful, that are thinking the right things. All my mates run businesses and have multiple investments, and we're constantly sitting down and finding new ways to do more and more and more. And that is your circle. You need to create and curate a circle that actually drives you. Because if you're hanging out with a bunch of alcoholics, you're the next one. If you're hanging out with a bunch of broke people that are struggling and talking about how tough it is, that becomes your mindset. Even their energy is contagious. If you have a really good day and you're feeling good, and then you go hang out with 2 people that are sad losers that are just talking negative nonsense, then you're probably going to lower your standards. You're probably going to feel shitter and shitter and shitter. So you need to get yourself in better circles, better situations. This is where coaching can come in. This is where masterminds can come in. But get yourself into better communities. With my coaching, for example, you get access to the VIP group chat, which is all of my clients that are absolutely crushing it. There is a good community of men that are absolutely crushing it, that actually hold everyone to a higher standard. And if you can't get around new people, even influences from new people is enough. There's a saying that you're the average of the 5 people you hang around. But being such a modern age, I think it's more the 5 people that influence you the most. So you can listen to podcasts, you can work with coaches, you can do online courses and get influenced by people that are up here that will slowly start to increase your standards as well. But the people that you hang around, the people that influence you most, your circle is probably one of the most important things. Because when I was doing dumb shit, I was around dumb people, I was listening to dumb music, I was influenced by the wrong things. And now that my circle is all millionaires and billionaires and people that want to do better and run businesses and actually succeed in life, my life is at a very different point. Number 6 is having a solution-based mindset. Now, this comes back to the whole how much value you can give, and I've already touched on it lightly, but the most paid person in any room is the one that can find the solution the quickest. The guy that can actually solve people's problems. There is a saying that you are paid in direct proportion to the problem that you solve. Meaning, if you know how to flip burgers at McDonald's and make burgers, you're replaceable, man. Everyone can do that. You're not going to make much money. Whereas if you know how to take data from the cloud, secure it through some sort of crypto thing, launch it on a market and make some company $10 million, you got to make a lot of fucking money. Because I don't even know what that is, right? A GP at a doctor that knows, a little bit of everything is not paid as much as the neurosurgeon that can operate on a very specific thing. So it comes down to the problem that you can solve. Being the guy that has the answers, has the solutions. If that is you, if you become the can-do, positive, charismatic, energetic problem solver, solution-based man, you will be very successful. And the way to look at it is that every action has a positive or negative reaction. As in, Every problem has a solution. You know, when you flip a coin and there's a tail and there's a heads, always, that is problem solution. Oh, crashed my car. Oh, need to get a new one. My missus is sick. Damn, let's figure that out. Let's sort that. Let's come up with a solution. Oh, my ad's turned off this week due to the ad being banned because of this image. Okay, cool. Let's relaunch the ad with a different image. Like, there is always a solution. No matter how big, how small, it is up to you to find it. And if you adopt that mindset, you will become very fucking successful. And now number 7 is something that you need in order to become successful. And that is doing the uncomfortable thing consistently and pushing through when things get hard, right? There's 2 things there, but it's kind of grouped in one because it's very similar. But everyone wants the results, right? A lot of people reach out to me and they want to get the results, but not many people take action because it's hard. But there's also the people that do take action that then give up when it's hard, right? They sign up, they get results, they're liking it, they're 4, 5, 6 weeks in, they've dropped 8, 9, 10 kilos in 4 weeks, and now it's starting to get a bit hard. Now their friends are messaging them, hey man, you haven't come out in a while, you want to go do this? Or something pops up, the soccer's on, or whatever's going on in the world, and slowly they kind of lose interest, and then it becomes harder to stick to it, and I start to see them slacking off. Now in my coaching, I reach out, I re-engage them, I get them back on track, so that's fine. But it is a very important thing that you don't give up when it gets hard. You need to push through when it gets hard, because if you give up every time it gets hard, then you're never going to achieve anything, right? That's why a lot of relationships don't work, because people get together and they're like, oh yeah, this is amazing, this is amazing. Then you have your first problem, your second problem, oh, it's too hard, it shouldn't be this hard. They break up. Next relationship, same things happen. Next relationship, same things happen. And it's because typically you do need to push through it. You need to work on it. There is always going to be things that pop up that you need to push through. Things are always going to be a little bit hard. I think going back to that very soft mentality, people have lost the ability to push through when it gets hard. They expect everything to be perfect all the fucking time. So then when things do get hard, they're like, oh, well, this isn't working. Oh, it's too hard. But it's always going to be hard. Life as a man is always difficult. There is always hard work to do. And if you're not willing to do it, then you're not going to achieve shit. You're never going to achieve anything that you want in life if you're not willing to put in the hard work and push through when it gets difficult, to actually do the difficult thing consistently. People just live in this world where they just want to do the easy thing. And this pisses people off when I say it, but I think going to work for 8 hours a day in 2026 is the bare fucking minimum. If you wake up, you go to work, you come home, and that is all you do. Oh, well, honey, I had to go to work, so no, you cooked dinner, and oh no, I had to go to work, so I'm not going to go to the gym, and oh, you didn't make dinner, I'm just going to order Uber Eats. Oh, well, it's been a long day, so I've had 6 beers. If that is you, you are doing the bare minimum, and you will eventually come to a point where that is all you've done with your life, and because you've done nothing else, you've added no value adds into your life. You've just gone to work, which, yes, is noble. I'm not saying quit your job and live off Centrelink, because that's just an issue in itself. But don't just think, oh, well, I go to work for 8 hours, so I don't need to go to the gym. I deserve nice things. I deserve to have a burger and a pie every day and have 6 beers. Because if you do that, you will quickly become very fat, unhappy, and miserable with your life, because you've not done anything to actually improve it. And it's honestly a little trap that a lot of people fall into and then find it very hard to get out of. And yes, going to work for 8 hours a day is very noble. You're putting food on the table, respect. But the secret is to not let that dictate your life. Because at the end of the day, everybody works. So you using it as an excuse is literally just an excuse. Because there's someone in your situation that's doing the exact same thing as you that still trains and eats right and treats their missus nice and goes above and beyond, because they're not just doing the bare minimum. And the funny thing is, because they're doing all the extra things and they're training and they're eating right, they have more energy in which they can do the other things as well. Whereas a lot of men fall into that trap where they just wake up, they go to work, they eat shit food, they drink. Now you're in this cycle where you look down one day, you can't see your dick, you wake up tired, you feel like shit, you come home and have to nap on the lounge, and you've just let yourself go over the last 20 years because, oh, I'm busy. But really, people out there are making more money than you. They're doing more than you. They're working more than 8 hours a day, and they're doing all the extra stuff. They've got the good habits, they're training, they're eating right. And because that is their foundation, they can do all the other stuff and they become the man that achieves what they want in life. So it is your duty to put in that extra work, to actually push through when it gets hard. Because yes, it is going to be hard, but going back to one of the most important things, you get to choose what kind of hard you want it to be. Do you want it to be hard as in, oh, well, I'm struggling to pay my rent. Oh, well, I can't afford coaching because, oh, well, I need to go to work. And, oh, I can't afford things and I'm struggling. But one of the most important things that I said earlier is that you get to choose what kind of hard you want. Are you going to choose to do the hard things every day and your life becomes easier? Or are you going to do the easy things in which your life becomes harder? I'm going to say that again. Are you going to do the hard things now, train, eat right, have discipline, have willpower, do the hard work now, and eventually your life becomes easier? Or you take the easy road now and not do those difficult things, but your life then becomes harder because you can't afford shit, you can't pay your rent, you can't put your kids into a good school, you can't get your wife the things that she deserves. So ultimately, you need to decide what kind of life that you want to live. Do you want to become the man that actually goes after the life that he wants and you step up as the man, the husband, the father? You work on yourself, you build the good habits, you build the good mindset, you have training and nutrition as your base. You become the solution-based, driven, motivated man that can actually make his family's dream become a reality? Or do you just give up on yourself and do the bare minimum, fall for the bad habits and have the shit excuses? Oh, well, I go to work 8 hours a day. Cool. So does everybody else. But you have the choice of what kind of life you want to live. You're actually not an NPC. You're not just cruising through life. You can change anything in your life in an instant. The people that are successful now that you look up to are also just human beings like yourself. The people that became successful or made the rules that we follow now are just human beings too. Who told you that you can't become successful? You can't work on yourself. You can't achieve the things that you want. But I'm sure a lot of you think of that and it's a limiting belief living inside your head that yes, you can overcome. It is what I help my clients do through the Mindset Mastery course. And that right there is why my guys get the results they get. Like I said, it's not just training and nutrition. Anyone can do that. But the mindset is the thing that actually keeps it up. The mindset is where you build the discipline, you build the willpower, you build the mindset necessary to actually stick to it when things get hard. In the Mindset Mastery course, we look at your goals. We look at where you want to be in 5, 10, 20 years. We come up with the roadmap. We figure out what's holding you back. We identify those limiting beliefs. We come up with the habits that are going to help you achieve it and the morning routine to help you get in this peak mindset first thing in the morning. Because it's that kind of morning routine, it's that kind of habit system, it's that kind of lifestyle that's actually going to help you achieve what you want. And through training and nutrition, you can teach yourself these things early on. You can build the discipline, build the habits. And going back to this whole reason why I was doing this video, I have been there myself. I was once the self-doubting, anxious, depressed, suicidal drug addict that wouldn't be here if I kept going on the path I was going, yet I decided to make a change. And I started working on myself and working with the coaches and training and eating right and actually investing in myself. And now my life is honestly like some people's vision boards. And I'm only just beginning. Every goal that I set 10 years ago, I had achieved 5 years ago and I needed to start increasing them. The goals that I set myself 10 years ago that I never thought I'd be able to achieve, I was just writing it on the piece of paper because that's what the self-help book told me. One of them back there, it told me, write out what you want. Your big, be-all, end-all goals, write them out as if it were possible. And at the time, I didn't believe it, but I was following what they were saying. I was very unsure, very skeptical, much like you are right now. Wanting more for myself, I knew that I wasn't happy in the life that I was living, and I wanted to change, and I was looking up to all these other people, and I wanted their life. So I started doing the courses and reading the books. And even though I was skeptical and didn't trust it fully, I did it. I wrote out these numbers. I wrote out these things that I wanted to achieve. And in 5 years, I achieved them and went, oh shit. I thought it was going to take my entire life to actually achieve these things. But because of the things that I just shared with you, because of those principles, I was able to achieve them very quickly, and I had to go back to the drawing board. And 5 years from that, I've also hit those goals. Now the goals that I've got in front of me on my whiteboards, the old me wouldn't have ever thought that was possible. And I guarantee in 5-10 years, once I achieve those, I will have to set bigger and bigger and bigger goals. And this is the kind of life I have built. This is the kind of mentality that I have built, the kind of man that I have become through these principles that I've shared with you. And these are just a few that I wrote out for this video, but I genuinely believe that your life is an accumulation of your habits, and you can't just be the guy that wants or says, oh yeah, well, I want to do this and this and this, because everyone talks, but talk is cheap. Like, you actually have to put in the work. And I talk a lot. I understand that. I do a lot of content. I put a lot of shit out there, but there's a lot of shit that I don't even put out there. Like, I don't like to brag. I don't like to, flex. I'm actually a very withdrawn person, but I do coaching. So it's a big part where I have to actually do all this stuff. I don't actually like doing this, but I know that what I say can help people, and that's ultimately why I do it. I know that, showing certain parts of my life helps people go, oh, okay, he's actually not full of shit. But I genuinely guarantee that, like, if you work on yourself and lose the weight and become the man that you need to be and actually increase your standards and work with the right person, that's such a big part of it. If you actually do that, then you can achieve whatever it is in this life. And whilst you deserve that, your wife and your children or your future children, they deserve that. Like, I want men to be better so that women have a better life. Because I believe that femininity is a beautiful thing. And with the rise of, like, this boss bitch era, a lot of women have lost that femininity and they're very masculine dominant figures. And a lot of men take the back seat to that. A lot of men will, instead of actually stepping up as a man and letting her relax and become a more feminine woman, because when she doesn't have to fight all the battles and win all the wars, then she will become a more feminine woman, right? And my wife is the perfect example of that. She was in real estate and in sales and really, like, masculine when I met her. But through me stepping up and, building this life for us, she is now this very feminine, beautiful woman. And that's, like, a very important part of life to me. And I believe that it is a man's duty to step up and do that. But you can't do that if you aren't able to protect and provide. That's why half of them do it, because if a man isn't going to step up and lead and protect and provide for me, then they need to do it, right? The woman needs to do it. So I don't want to take up too much of your time, but if you want to listen to more, like, I have a lot more of this kind of motivational kind of content, you can hit the description and there'll be the link to my podcast. Otherwise, you can just look up the Apex Performance Podcast. If you actually want to talk about coaching, and if this has moved you in any kind of way and you do want to achieve more and just become that man, and kind of finishing off what I was saying before, become the man that can provide this amazing life for the people that you love, and offer that safety and security to your wife and your children so that they don't have to stress and struggle, because I genuinely believe that as a man, that is your duty to do. You are meant to wear that stress and that struggle so they don't have to, so they can actually enjoy life, and your kids can remain innocent and your wife can remain feminine, while you as the man step the fuck up and do what you need to do. But you don't just do that by going to work for 8 hours. You do that by leading by example and actually working on yourself and waking up earlier and training and working and learning the new skills at night to eventually, scale, build your career or scale your business or whatever it is. That is how you become successful. I genuinely believe these habits and these things that I've taught you today and talked about today will genuinely help you achieve whatever it is that you want in life. You just need to actually not be the guy that goes, oh yeah, that sounds good, back to Pornhub or back to TikTok. You do need to actually take the leap and back yourself. And when you're working with someone that genuinely gives a shit about your results because they've been there too, like, that's why I do this, then you're guaranteed to win, because you have that accountability and support every step of the way. So what I want you to do, if this has kind of, grabbed at your strings a little bit, go to apexcoaching.com.au/watch this. You can also hit the link in the description below. I'll put it there to the coaching. My is Ryan Bennett Coaching, or what else is it? Apex Coaching Australia. You can click there and you can send me a DM. But the best thing to do from here is if you do want to step up and change and become that version of yourself that I know that you can be, go to apexcoaching.com.au/watch this. Watch the video. Have a scroll. There's a bunch of before and afters and screenshots from clients, like messages saying how much it's changed their life. There's interviews, like client interviews. There's testimonials. There's everything you need to know. So jump on there, watch all the videos, do your research, book in for a call so that you and I can have an actual call and come up with a plan specifically for you, because that's going to be the best way to get inside all of this and actually go after what you want and lose the weight and build the muscle and become that better version of yourself. I genuinely think the Mindset Mastery course that's my biggest difference from any other coach. Obviously there's a lot of coaches, but the mindset side of this is what makes it stick. The mindset side of this is what gives it its value. Like, I have invested easily over 6 figures into coaches just in the last 2 years, let alone the last 10 years, just the last 2 years. I've spent over 100 grand on coaches. So you know that it works if I'm still doing it now, right? Because the return on investment that you can make on yourself is the best investment that you'll ever make. Why go put 5 grand on a stock? If it goes up 10%, cool, you've made $500, yippee. Whereas if you go invest into a coach that can help you become better, and then you double your income the year later, because now you're firing on all cylinders and you actually have this different mentality and you're just so much better off. Like, you've doubled your income. You haven't just made an extra $500. I think that's one of the most important things. People are like, oh, I've got $5,000. What should I invest in? Yourself. Even if you were to get 10% return on investment from a crypto or a share or whatever, that's $500. Whereas if you invest in yourself and work on yourself and become better, and you get a higher paying job, or you start a business and you scale that to 100K a month, best investment you ever fucking made. So guys, I'm going to leave it at that. But that is, these things that I've gone through are the biggest things that have helped me move the needle in my own life and help me, achieve what I never thought was, like, I couldn't even conceive this kind of life 10 years ago. And it's what I've done. So I know that you can do it too, but fortune favors the bold, and inaction is what costs people their dreams, right? Inaction is what costs people their dreams. If you do nothing about it, if you just sit there and watch the video and then go, yeah, that's made me feel really good, back to Netflix, back to let's order Uber Eats, back to your fake life of fake dopamine hits, you're never going to achieve anything. But I know that if I have done this, you can do it too. So don't just sit there not taking action. Go to apexcoaching.com.au/watch this, watch the videos, book in for a call, and I'll talk to you there.